Alright, Scorpion72 here, back taking a look at the next signature collection figure here from DC Multiverse from Mattel. It's Batman Forever. So Val Kilmer Batman is the Batman that we're getting in figure form for the first time in a 6-inch figure line. He comes here the same window box packaging as the Flash and most of their figures in the new packaging that Mattel is doing now for the Multiverse line. Picture of Val Kilmer Batman here on the side, the rubber suit, and here he is in the back. Same thing like with the Flash, and they have a picture here. And it doesn't really say much more than that. There's a whole bunch of different like languages here all on the top. A very lot of them. It's like they got like almost every main country that they're going to be shipping this to. He comes with extra pair of hands and a grappling hook. So the Flash only came with hands. He comes with an actual weapon. Too bad they couldn't add a batarang in that, especially for the price point. It would have been nice to at least have one batarang, or at least something else from the movie. Here he has this card back, also like in the Flash, with the Flash figure, and it looks like he has a very big cloth cape. Like it actually spans from here to here. I'm not sure if it's his likeness and he signed off on it, or they just did it anyway type thing and have it look kind of like him but not really like him. Like they've known to done that before when they, like with certain characters, but I guess in a case like this they kind of have to get the permission for Val Kilmer, depending on the agreement from when he first did the movie, which is all those years ago, which is back in the 90s also. So without further ado, let's take a look at the figure inside. Alright, here we have Batman Val Kilmer from Batman Forever. So I do the same thing I do with the Flash. Let's just open them up on this side, take them out. Nothing really extra inside the box. Same thing, black backdrop here. Take that out after. Stand, says Batman. Would have been nice if it had a little bit more, I guess, like to change it up in case the other Batman does come out. I know people were expecting the first Batman figure for this line. I guess people were like, well, where's Michael Keaton Batman or something like that. One or two things, I guess they're saving him rather than have your heavy hitters right off the bat. And knowing that people want Michael Keaton Batman, Jack Nicholson Joker, they'll save him for a later wave. And or knowing Mattel now that they're doing like full 1/12 scale vehicles, they may actually have him come with the Batmobile. And as I mentioned in my other video, that would be really stoked if they did that. I think that would flip people, and people would be really happy if it was that way. I know some of them may not want the Batmobile, but they might do it that way. Of course, you know, Batman Michael Keaton appeared in Batman and Batman Returns, so they can pick one of those versions to come with the Batmobile they want and the other one not to, but we'll have to wait and see. Like I said, Toy Fair is around the corner, so we'll see about that. Same thing as before. I'm just gonna point them out because I'm gonna show you guys them up close later. They have the pegs here and the flight stand blockers here. There's the flight stand. And here we have the figure. There's no elastics and stuff like that, so it's very easy to take out. Be very careful. I thought the cape was just cloth, but it's a leather kind of cape. It's really neat. So it's soft like cloth on the inside, and the outside it's got this nice plastic, like a leather type shine and feel to it, which I was not expecting, which is really cool. It's kind of like the one that they did for the Justice League Batman, I believe, but it seems to fold down a little bit better than that. And of course, he comes with two hands, both of these being open hands, and his grappling hook, which, let's see if it separates. Nope, it's just a solid piece of plastic. Does not separate, but it has like two different like paint apps on it. Still pretty neat, but it'd been cool if they had it like kind of separate so you can add your own string and stuff like that. So I don't want to pull it too much and break it. Alright, so now we're going to take a look at the Val Kilmer Batman a little bit up closer and check out his articulation, I should say. Alright, so as I mentioned, taking on the package, the cape's really nice, kind of cloth, shiny. It's got this nice little shimmer to it due to its pleather type plastic. Gloves are shiny, so they got a gloss to it. So there's boots also has a gloss to it. The belt, paint application on the belt is just gray paint. In the back here, there's nothing even to hold like the grappling hook if you wanted to, which is okay because it's a pretty big grappling hook anyway. The insignia, I did get 2 of him. I'm probably looking for another flash, because I didn't see him there, because like I said, he's gone real fast. Pun intended. But yeah, the insignia has done really well, so they're really stepping up their paint apps, as you can see, which is a thing when you go out there. I'm sure a lot of you guys might be like me, where you look and it's all about the insignia. And I think the other Batman I had a crooked belt, so I didn't open up that one. I decided to keep this one. The belt is kind of glued on there. I'm not going to peel it off. And the cowl here is also kind of like a different kind of plastic. It's kind of a little bit softer. And the ears are also soft. Even the mask and stuff, which I like, it has a nice shine to it. So all here it's got this like gloss to it, and its mask has a gloss to it. It's a little bit different from what we see in the picture, I think. I'm trying to remember how he looked in the movie and stuff, to see if his neck was really that skinny. And it kind of matches up. I think the neck could have been a bit more thicker. I don't think by then they ever had him able to turn his head in the costumes. That's one of the things about Batman movies back then, is that he could not turn his head properly. He had to turn his whole body. Nevertheless, head, it can go from left to right. Can't really go down. Can slightly go up. Don't want to push it up too much, but that's as far as it can go. Arms on the ball joint, goes forward. Swivel on the bicep. Double jointed elbows, as all these figures I believe are going to be having. Let's see if he has the same swivel. He has a slight swivel here just above the glove. It's kind of like the Flash in the video there that I showed you earlier. He has a slight swivel, not as prominent as the Flash does, which I'm surprised, but he does have some kind of slight little swivel there in the upper glove. Swivel here in the wrist, as well as a joint in the wrist, in the hand. Ab crunch, call it this way, and at least they sculpted all of this, which sometimes they neglect to do that, and you have a smooth type of like surface. There's a few Marvel Legends like that, and there's a few of the DC characters like that too. When you put them back, there's like it doesn't blend up, but this blends really well. I'm really surprised at that. And even when he goes down, it looks a little weird, but it still all matches up. In the back here has a hole for that flight stand peg. Let's see, swivel at the waist. Waist can go out this way, so you can get them doing the really cool Batman kick. Oh boy, I can't wait for them to do the rest of the Batman, especially Keaton and stuff. Yeah, I'm really excited about these ones. These figures. Thigh swivel. Double jointed knees, which is great to finally have these in these figures. Oh yes, I didn't think they were. It's swivel at the boot, but it's odd. It's cut like on a slant. I don't know if the camera's catching that. So it kind of turns, but not by much, just a little bit. I'm not sure if it is supposed to turn. I hope I'm not forcing it. Yeah, it turns just a slight bit. Same thing with the, like I said, same thing with up here. It just turns just a slight bit. Ankle pivot. Does not have the rocker, and he has toe pivot, boot pivot, like the old-fashioned type of Marvel Legends figures and toy bids back in the day.
So as I mentioned, I do like the paint schemes and everything on this figure. The gloss on the gloves and the boots really look nice, as long as the little gray on the paint. Insignia is good. He looks more like Val Kilmer from the side only, not when you look at him dead on. I like the pleather cape and insignia, as I mentioned before. The thing is thank goodness we have the cape to block that big hole in the back, which I think is going to be a real problem when Linda Carter Wonder Woman comes out later on. They don't find a way to block that. It's not going to look very nice on the figure.
Alright, so let's check out the stand. Same thing follows suit with the Flash stand. It's the same thing with the Batman stand. It's actually a storage compartment underneath. You just pop it open like this. You have all the room to put the pegs. You just put the extra pegs in there. I already dropped them. I think I lost one already, so it's very good that you have this and very handy. Just pop the, whoops. You just pop this into any like hole you desire. You can actually put all the pegs in all the holes you see here. This here is the flight blocker, as I mentioned in my other video too. So you just stick that in there if you don't want to have a big gaping hole when you have them on display. Or you can pop it out, and there goes that. Careful, really flies. Found it. Minus cat hair. And then you just stick this in. So you have a flight. So this I think is going to be really handy for Batman, seeing how he's always coming through windows, window skylights, all that stuff, and leaping and everything like that. Same thing with the other thing, as I mentioned in my other video, it separates, but it does not go into any of the holes here, which is too bad. It would have been really cool. You can like lower it down a bit if you want to get crunching, but I understand it's just, the reason for that is because it can be stored inside here. So you will put this in here like this. Take this part out here, store that, and mind you, everything stores in here, including the extra hands that he comes with as well. We're gonna find out now if the grappling hook fits in here snug. So we're gonna put the grappling hook and see, and it kind of does. Something's pushing this up, and it might be the grappling hook here. So the grappling hook may give you problems to store, which is the reason I think why they probably expect people to have it in his hand when they're displaying him. And of course, he comes to the backdrop showing you Val Kilmer, Batman Forever. Back says Multiverse. Just stick it here in the slot, slip there, and there you go. So you can display him with this in the back. So like, for those of you who don't know which Batman it is, they'll know because it'll say Batman here, but it'll say Batman Forever, and they'll be, oh yeah, that one. Alright, sounds corrected. Sorry, just have to come back quick. It does fit in here. You gotta kind of put it to the back. There is enough room and height for you to fit the back grappling hook there. The grappling hook does fit in there, as you can see. So it's just, you have to position it. I think one of the pegs were blocking or something like that, or this was sticking up, because there's a lot of depth here, you can see. So it should be no problem. Plus I had it turned around, so certain that should make a difference, but it's just a matter of making sure you place it nice and it closes flush, so you can actually store his weapon in there if you don't want him to have it in his hand when you're displaying him. That's all I wanted to just show you real quick. Nevertheless, really cool figure, really solid. About the paint, there's not much paint to him. The suit's more like a matte black, but in the lighting it kind of shows up gray. The cape, very pliable, so you can fit to any 6-inch Batmobile and stuff. You should have no problem with that. Hands, of course, he comes with 2 gripping hands. They have like a little bit of sculpting here on the glove and everything. So you guys know how to do this by now, I'm sure. Just pop that out, pops really easy. It even has a pivot too on it, so you can like pivot the hand, and then you can put the grappling hook in either one of the hands. Or if you have any spare batarangs lying around from your other Batman figures, I'm sure they fit there, which I'm gonna see if I can have any when I do my still photos and comparison photos. See if I have some nearby that I can show you guys real quick. Now to get him to stand, the problem with him to get him to stand is this toe sometimes it's kind of loose, so you might have a problem doing that and getting him to stand up. But once you get it in a certain way, some pose, it works. And there you go, you can have him just pointing up, ready to go to the rooftop. The other thing here we go, stand, peg in both boots, and let's see, I get it in there, yep. So there we go. So you can have them like that, or for somebody like him, as I mentioned earlier before, he will really benefit from the flight peg stand. Where did I put it? There we go. See? This way you don't lose it. It's good to have a nice little storage depot there. put it together. Let's stick this in there first. So you just put it in. I forgot to mention that before. It's just, you hear a little click, so you don't have to push it all the way in. You just put it in just slightly. You hear a little click or something, and then you can knock that off. Actually, let me see. Yeah, which I didn't mention in my video. It kind of pushes this back, this flight stand peg here, pushes the cardboard display backdrop back a bit, so it tilts a bit, so you have to really probably re-put it in and stick it in there, but it's good to bend it. Too bad there wasn't any wire in his cape. It would have been really cool to add that, because it doesn't look like he's really falling down on anybody or stuff like that, so that would have been cool to add that. As I mentioned before in the other one, you can twist it so you can have him going to the side, but he's got some weight to him, so it's going to tip the stand. Let me see if I put this here real quick. I'm just showing you guys all these different options. If you still have questions, feel free. But yeah, so the backdrop helps to balance out the stand if you go pose him like he's jumping to the side. I guess if they get another figure like Riddler or Two-Face and decide to make them, you can have them lunging at them this way from the side. So this thing just pivots in all different directions. As I mentioned before, the worst position is having it like facing the back, because it just tilts the whole thing. So for the side, you need to have you need the backdrop. Front, you don't really need the backdrop, and then you can turn it any which way. You can have them like upside down. So there you go. Looks crazy having him hang upside down, but hey, he is Batman. Let's see what he looks like next to some of the other Batman figures.
So here is a comparison shot with Batman from Justice League, as well as another Batman for the Multiverse line, and the NECA Michael Keaton Batman, which is 7 inches tall, just to give you an idea of what they look like standing together. I'm looking forward to see what other figures they have in this line later on this year. Hope they find a way to kind of plug up the big holes for characters that don't have, the holes in the back I should say, characters that don't have a cape. Other than that, really also happy that we're finally getting double jointed elbows and knees. That's way overdue articulation for DC figures, so good kudos on that from Mattel. Figures are showing up here in Canada now, should be in the States within another month or two at the most, or at least I should say. And hey, this looks like it could be a really great line. Hopefully they don't raise the price point on any other characters. Nevertheless, Scorpion 72 out.